All right, so here's the thing.
Right.
So there are all these, white boys are talking to me about Trump, and he's a terrible racist. And it's like, well, how could the black people vote for him more than each time? And they didn't vote for him a lot more, but men did.
Right, men did.
Okay, and I said, you know what? I don't want to speak for all black people, and this is where I need to tell you.
Sure.
You tell me if I was wrong or right.
Okay.
I said, you know what I think black people think about Trump? Like, is he a racist? Yeah, but they think every white person is kind of a racist. And do they think that white people behind closed doors talk like Trump? Yeah, he's just a crazy person.
That last part right there. It's not that. It's not.
He just says it out loud
as black people. I don't want to speak for all black people, whatever.
No,
obviously
because they're not all alike.
That's right. All. Exactly. But I will say this to you, as being a black man, you don't look at white people and automatically think they're racist. You automatically know they're different than you, that they think different than you, that they come from a different cultural background and experience things differently than they do. Right. So that second part is very, very important, because when you talk about how Trump talks, we're going like this. So that's the first time he talked like that, when he became president. Who the fuck do you think you playing with? We know better than that. We know better than that. We know that ain't the first time, and we know that the people that he was friends with all of these years, he talked just like that around y'all, and y'all didn't have no problem with it. Don't act like you have a problem
and
now.
Also had some genuine black friends and black folks who like him.
Well, let me tell you this. I don't know if I told you this.
Because it's complicated.
I don't know if
Life
I told you
is
this.
complicated.
I wouldn't call myself his friend by any stretch of the imagination back in the day.
Right.
But I've told this on many occasions. I said this in my recent appearance on The View and stuff like that. Trump and I were friendly.
Right.
Before he ran for president.
Is he really in his heart, hateful? No, I think
I've never.
I don't think his motivation is, I don't like black people. I think his motivation is, everybody must love me.
Thank you. And that's why, that's right there. What you just said, everybody must love me.
It's his narcissism. It's not his racism.
I have never called him a racist. I have never spoken about him that way. Ever. Not one time. Because I knew him beforehand.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about this pretty fascinating conversation between Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher. Now, you guys should know how I feel about Stephen A. and Bill Maher. I throw them in the same bucket of delusional liberals who should not be voting the way that they vote, okay? Both of these individuals allegedly voted for Kamala Harris, okay? And we all know why. Because, well, they're Trump deranged, first and foremost. But also on top of that, even if they wanted to publicly come out and say that they voted for Trump, they couldn't do it, okay? Because they would lose their careers, okay? Bill Maher, been on HBO, also CNN as well too. If he said, hey, I'm voting for Trump, or I voted for Trump, or he came out and supported Trump, he wouldn't have his show, right? He'd get canceled. Stephen A., same thing, okay? So these two individuals frustrate me a lot, because sometimes they'll say things that are grounded in common sense that will make a whole lot of sense, but yet they still try to rationalize supporting Democrats and voting for Democrats, even though they know that the Democrat Party has fell off a woke cliff, okay? And with that being said, they're having a real talk conversation over some drinks, right? And, when the drinks get to flowing, the real stuff starts to come out. And I found this conversation to be extremely candid, where Stephen A. talked about how everybody knows that Trump is not a real racist, right? I mean, Trump used to hang out with so many black people back in the day. They all knew he wasn't racist. And all of a sudden, they came out and said he was racist. Well, simply because that is what the Democrat Party and the liberal media said that people must now say about Trump, that he is a racist. Even though all these people that are saying he's racist were not saying these things before he ran for president. Okay, so Stephen A. admitted that, yeah, Trump is not racist. Everybody knows he's not racist. They're just using that to smear the guy. Okay, and now they're going to talk about the Democrat Party and why the Democrats lost to Trump. And I found this conversation to be fascinating as well too. So without further ado, let's get into it.
It's in Holyfield. Right. And it's been years now. Is that because UFC?
Combination of two. Number one, you can, and I love the fact that you made that analogy, because the kind of ass kicking that the Democrats just received is similar to a lot of that stuff. I would.
What do you think they should do about it?
The Democrats?
Yeah.
How about having some? Listen, I like Westmore, governor of Maryland, but you have, to use your baseball analogy, you have no bullpen. Who is it? Trump's been the Republican nominee since 2016.
Yeah.
Okay? It is clear that that's who conservatives want in the White House. Okay? That's who they supported. They didn't give a damn about the 34 indictments. They didn't give a damn about 2 impeachments. They didn't give a damn about all the legal issues and the lawfare that the Democrats engaged in. They said, Joe, that's who we want. This is the difference, and I said this to a lot of people, Bill. The conservatives said, we want that guy. That's who we want. And the voters decided who the Republican nominee is going to be. When you look at the Democrats, they didn't do it with Obama. That's true. Okay?
Didn't do what?
They greased the skids. This is the person we want. It's her turn. It was Hillary's turn in 2016.
Ding, 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 ding. I think that Stephen A. is making a great point here, in the sense that one of the main differences between Trump and Kamala Harris is the fact that voters actually voted for Trump. They said, hey, we want Trump to be our nominee. When it comes to Kamala Harris, nobody wanted Kamala Harris, right? Nobody voted for Kamala Harris. So it's really hard to excite people, especially your base, about a candidate that nobody voted for. They didn't get the opportunity to vote for her, to have a say in the Democrat primary process, right? The Democratic process, right? Which, again, is very hypocritical to the Democrats always coming out here talking about how they love democracy so much when they quite literally overthrew democracy within their own party because they were afraid of who the voters may select as the Democrats' nominee, okay? Now, Kamala Harris also back in 2019 when she ran for president in the Democrat primary, she didn't receive any votes then either, right? I mean, the party rejected her out of hand in 2019. So Democrats essentially forced Kamala Harris on people. And I think that is part of the reason why I think Kamala Harris struggled so much, why she never actually led in this race, despite the narrative from the mainstream media, is because she never had any real momentum. Nobody was excited to vote for her because they didn't have an opportunity to have a say about whether or not she should have been the nominee in the first place. And I also love how Stephen A. is admitting that Democrats grease the skids, aka they attempt to rig their own primaries, right? Which is something that everybody knows. Everybody that's paying attention to politics knows that they have their preferred candidate and they try to finagle their own primaries against the candidates that they don't like. Now, Stephen A. is acknowledging this. He picks up on this, but yet he still votes Democrat, right? How can you vote for a party in which you know that they don't actually believe in democracy? They actually are an authoritarian party. Look at how they handle their own elections, okay? Look at how they treat each other. So that's the thing about Stephen A. that frustrates me, is like, he's not stupid. He knows that the Democrat Party is a very wicked party, but for whatever reason, he still supports this party when he's openly acknowledging, yeah, they rigged their own primaries, right? He's literally saying that right now.
All right, Biden.
Well, that's not Obama. Obama earned it.
No, that's why I said he earned it. But in 2016, and I'm not even trying to imply
they voted. Hillary ran in the primaries.
I'm not even trying to imply that she. But remember, they were complaining that Bernie Sanders had some momentum and was compromised by the Democratic Party because they were saying it was Hillary's turn. Bernie
Sanders, I love him, but he's too far left, and he would have been a bigger disaster than Kamala was.
That's fine. But what I'm saying to you is, still in all, Bill, what I would, shoot, it's rare that I disagree with you. What I'm saying is, the only thing I will push back on is, that's fine, but that's for the voter to decide.
Right.
And a lot of times, the Democratic Party seems as if they've got their claws in the mix. Take Biden, for example. Okay, so, Clyburn helps him get through South Carolina. He ultimately goes to the Democratic nomination. He's the Democratic nominee for the president. He ultimately wins the election. There was supposed to be a red wave in 2022 in the midterms. The Republicans didn't pull that off. And Biden is feeling himself and saying, I ain't going anywhere. I'm not going to. I told y'all I was going to be a transitional president. I told y'all I was going to be a one-term dude. I'm just here as a stopgap to pave the way for the future of the Democratic Party. And then all of a sudden, he in office takes that power.
He was a veritable John the Baptist. Just the guy who goes before.
Come on, bro.
Absolutely.
Bill, the point is that your ass was going to be 82 years old in the White House. Come on now. And then I'll never forget this. Bill, I swear to you, I love your show, Real Time. I'm a huge fan. I watch it every chance I get. I have never.
No, real fans watch it every week. You watch it every chance you get. I'm just fucking with you.
That's because I got multiple jobs. But here's the deal, Bill. But I TiVo it. I tell you that much. I DVR it, rather.
TiVo.
That's TiVo, DVR.
I'm going to send you a telegram about that.
You told him myself. Here's the deal, man. I have never wanted to be on your show more than I wanted to be on your show when Biden announced that he was going to run for re-election. Because I'm like this, what y'all going to say now? This is some straight bullshit. You got a situation where you won the midterm. You denied, you halted, you warded off the red wave. And you, knowing you're going to be 81 in election time, knowing you're going to be 82 in office, right? It wasn't the midterm. It was when the State of the Union address took place. And I saw these people. Remember, the liberals, so when you call yourself progressives.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're looking forward with a dude that's going to be 82 and would leave office when he's 86. Really, y'all? I'm sitting there like, you got to be shitting me. This is what you're talking about? And I'm like, I knew I wasn't voting for Trump. I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I was saying to myself, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? And then I looked at their bullpen. They had no one. They had no one. They had no one that could compete with Donald Trump.
Well, not on a charisma level.
Fair. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so listen to this clown, Stephen A. Smith, right? Listen to this clown. This is why this guy frustrates me so much. He essentially admitted that, yeah, Democrats grease the skids within their own party, right, when it comes to their elections. And then he admits, well, Biden was too old. But he says, well, I know I can't vote for Trump, right? I just can't vote for Trump, a.k.a. I know I can't come out here and say I'm voting for Trump because I'll lose my job, right? That's what he actually really means. But what he's really saying here is that the Democrat Party right now sucks, right? There's literally no leadership whatsoever. Biden's too old, and Kamala could not compete with Trump. I mean, you guys just saw Kamala come out and give that video message to her supporters. Absolute train wreck. Absolute disaster. She can't lead the party. They have nobody, right? They literally have nobody on the bench whatsoever. They have nobody at all, okay? And that's a huge problem for the Democrats. I don't see anybody right now in the Democrat Party that can compete with anybody the Republicans put up in 2028, especially if Trump's presidency is successful, right? If his presidency is successful and the American people feel good about it, it's done, right? They're over, right? There's not anybody they can run to compete with Republicans. At this point, Democrats could be looking at the same situation they were looking at when it comes to Ronald Reagan, right? When the Reagan era came, okay, Reagan got 8 years, and then George Bush, the first Bush, he got 4 years. So you're talking about 12 years of straight Republican dominance. And this came out to Jimmy Carter, in which Biden is compared very, very, very often to Jimmy Carter, right? He's like the 21st century Jimmy Carter. And right now, it is looking like the Republicans could get another 12 years in office, right? Trump gets 4, and then J.D. Vance or whoever wins in 2028 gets another 8. Right? At the very least, we're easily looking at that. And Democrats know it. This is why they're panicking behind closed doors, because they know they got to turn it around quickly, right? They cannot afford to lose 12 years of progress, right? I mean, we've already captured the Supreme Court for the next 30 years, to be honest with you, right? So they've already lost there, okay? So, yeah, the Democrats are in a really, really, really bad situation right now, and it's really hard to see how they can dig themselves out of it, especially considering how there's an impending civil war between the progressive base. The progressive base, they're not going to let go of wokeness. They're not going to let go of the race hustling. They're not going to let go of the victimhood coalition. They're not going to. So Democrats are going to have to make a choice. Do they want to continue to be in bed with radical progressives, or do they want to have a hard break from the radical left? If they choose not to have a hard break from the radical left, then they will forever be attached to the radical left, and it's going to be really hard for them to win anything being attached to that, right? But if they do decide to break off from the hard left, The problem is that they're going to have to actually convince the American people that they're a better option than the Republicans and a Republican administration. And I don't think they're going to be able to out-Republican the Republicans. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to out-Trump Trump. I don't think it's going to happen. So again, it's not looking good for them, man. I don't know how they can thread this needle. I really don't. But again, what Stephen A is saying here is that, yeah, they don't have a future, right? There is no future for the Democrat Party right now in regards to a clear leader. And this is why they probably should have had a primary. If they would have had a primary, okay, even if the primary would have ended up in a disaster, okay, after Biden dropped out, let's say they had an open primary or whatever, at the very least, you know who the voters want to lead the party, right? You know, okay, this is who voters generally agree should be the future of the party. You don't even know that with Kamala because, again, nobody in the Democrat Party base voted for her in the primary. Primaries are there for a reason, okay? And Democrats forgot about that because they got so used to just rigging their own primaries that they say, you know what, screw it. It doesn't matter anymore. But it certainly matters.
No,
But charisma is what gets you votes, bro.
absolutely. And I've said it a million times. Insanity photographs. It really does. I mean, it's charismatic. But I have so many things that I must contend here with.
Sure.
One, you're an ageist. There are people who are completely crackling right at 82. So
No, I don't
it's
feel I'm
always
an
a case.
ageist.
It's always a case by case basis.
Right, yeah. Nancy
Biden-
Pelosi don't have the problems that Biden have. I'm
Oh,
very
wow.
supportive of,
Yeah,
in
this is
terms
what
of
I'm talking
Nancy
about.
Pelosi, in terms of how sharp she is.
This is what I'm talking
not,
about.
I don't.
Delusion. Stephen A will say something. He will make an observation that is very astute, okay? A great observation, and then turn around in the next sentence say something completely dumb. Nancy Pelosi certainly has the same issues as Joe Biden. If you've been watching Sunday morning, hello, Sunday morning, good Sunday morning, Nancy Pelosi. Clearly, Stephen A hasn't been doing that.
I believe I'm an ageist.
Nancy Pelosi has lost a step in public also, to be perfectly honest. But the job is never what you do in public. The job is done in the Oval Office.
Okay.
All you have to do is I never thought Biden couldn't do the job. The job is actually sitting in the Oval Office making decisions. He's not crazy. He hasn't lost his mind. He's not senile. He just can't do the public part. He never could do it well. And add the age thing, and you're going to get things like, I killed Medicare or whatever the fuck he said. By the way, Trump, no one has been harder on Trump or more against Trump, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to establish my credentials. But he does do things once in a while that either make me genuinely laugh or make me genuinely go, oh, that's good.
Yes.
Like when he said that in that debate, he had a moment where he went, I don't know what he said.
Exactly.
And I don't think
right there.
And I don't think he knows
I don't
what
think
he
he
said.
knows what he said. I
And
mean,
it's
we
like,
crack it up.
That's what people love about him.
Yes.
It's like he's crazy, but crazy people don't have the time to pretend about shit. That's why he can say shithole countries.
You say
and
the
everybody,
time.
as if nobody
But
else
Bill.
ever said shithole.
But Bill.
Or
AKA, Trump has been genuine. He's been real. That's what they actually mean to say, right? In a lot of drunk words, right? Because these individuals both are clearly inebriated, right? So they're not really making much sense. But what Bill Maher said about Joe Biden is cope, about how, Biden can do the job. No, Biden can't do the job. The problem with Biden is the fact that he is not coherent enough to actually make decisions, okay? People elect a president to actually make decisions. Biden's not making any decisions, okay? He couldn't even make a decision about whether or not he was staying in the race, okay? His party told him, no, you got to drop out, son, right? You're out of here. Biden has been controlled since day one. And I think that makes people uncomfortable because Biden, he can't push back even if he wanted to, right? We saw him try to. We saw him try very hard to stay in the race, but he couldn't do it because he has no power. And again, that makes the American people uncomfortable because you don't vote for a president to have everybody around him control the president. No, you vote for a president to do the other way around, which is to control everybody else around him, right? He's the one calling the shots and setting the direction. No, Biden was just the figurehead, right? What the American people voted for when they voted for Joe Biden was everybody else around Joe Biden, okay? Obama, really, okay? That's what you really got in Obama third term. That's what you got out of Joe Biden. And that's something that I think people kind of saw play out in public. And again, that goes into part of the reason why Democrats lost is because I think people are uncomfortable with the overt authoritarian nature of the Democrat Party. And that's the crazy part, because these people project so much. They project all these things that they actually do in their own party onto Trump. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.